Greetings everyone, I am Dr. Wolf, and I just read some upcoming news about the My Little Pony Season 10 that's taking place in the comics, and from the little synopsis that we were given, I'm actually really excited to see what they can do with it. I mean, take a look at this. Season 10 of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic begins. Twilight's first act as Queen of Equestria is to send the main six to explore mysterious and potentially dangerous areas of Equestria. When Applejack, Zecora, Rockhoof, and Tempest travel to Zecora's home country, they meet a zebra named Marini and learn exciting, surprising information about Zecora, the magical Kelpies in Abada, and the not-so-magical zebras who live there. Now, the very idea that the My Little Pony characters are going to be going well beyond the borders of Equestria and exploring new lands, that's interesting. Including characters like Applejack, Zecora, Rockhoof, and Tempest Shadow, or aka Fizzlepop Berry Twist. That's even more interesting. With the previous My Little Pony seasons, it seemed apparent that they had to include each of the main six even just a little bit for each premiere. And now since the show is over and season 10 is taking place in the comics, I can already tell they're given more freedom to do what they want with new characters and new lands and changing up the formula. And yeah, that's interesting. Now, for starters, I haven't read much of the comics at all. I tend to get headaches from a lot of reading, so I've been avoiding comics most of the time, though some of the premises have been interesting to me. But reading something like this, thinking Applejack and Zecora, along with Rockhoof and Tempest, that's a really interesting mix of characters. I mean, certainly seems to be more on the physical side of things. Looking at how AJ tends to fight, and how Rockhoof tends to fight, and especially how Tempest seems to fight, it makes me think, well, is this eventually going to be leading into fisticuffs with what other creatures they run across? And speaking of which, Kelpies. The synopsis specifically mentions Kelpies, and so that made me curious all of a sudden. Would they actually include something like this? No, they wouldn't do that, would they? I mean, you have to believe that since a show like DuckTales included voice actresses like Tara Strong and Andrea Libman to voice Kelpie characters that look very much like the My Little Pony characters, would they be allowed to do something on the other side? Even if it's just in the comics, I mean, that's just a funny idea. Because seeing those characters in that one episode, that was hilarious. And now just thinking of Kelpies in the My Little Pony universe, if they'd even dare using something similar, that's just a funny idea. At any rate though, what interests me the most is the fact that visiting Zecora's homeland is something that I've wanted to see in the show for years. I still can't believe they never tackled it even once in the actual show. But now that the show is over and season 10 is taking place in the comics, again, it seems like the writers are given more freedom on what to do with the characters and where they go and all the shenanigans that might ensue. It's an interesting idea to explore well beyond the borders of Equestria. I mean, this is just episode 1, or issue 1 of My Little Pony Season 10. So that begs the question, is every subsequent issue supposed to be another member of the main six with 3 other secondary characters to go along with them to strange new lands? I mean, there is so much potential with that. I truly wish the show could have done much more like what this synopsis is telling. I mean, fan fiction writers over the years have come up with all kinds of ideas on where Zecora comes from and what her backstory might be like, and perhaps even meeting her family and friends from way back at home, or exploring the reason why she came to Equestria in the first place. And if an issue like this is tackling even just half of those questions, I am genuinely intrigued. The show may have been over for several months by now, but if we're going to be tackling ideas like this, in My Little Pony Season 10, even if it is just in comic form, I think I might want to take a look. It's still a while until this is released, but yeah, just the premise alone, that is wildly intriguing. And having such a unique group of characters, Applejack, Rockhoof, Zecora, and Tempest. I mean, who would have thought those 4 characters would come together for an adventure? At any rate, though, I am genuinely glad that there is going to be future episodes, even if there are just in comic form. It's never going to be quite as good as the show because, yeah, I love seeing the animation and hearing the voices and the music and the sound effects, and yeah, there is a lot more you can do with a visual medium like animation. But even just ideas like visiting Zecora's homeland, along with a unique group of characters, I think I do want to take a look when this eventually comes out. But then, what do each of you think? How many of you have been keeping up with the comics over the years, and now that My Little Pony Season 10 is officially taking place in the comics, what is it that you're hoping to see in the future? And given that this is going to be just one of the main 6 with these secondary characters, what other groups of characters could be paired with each of the main 6 in future issues? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, because as always, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.